this is our strategy. It's available. You can read it. It's on the web. It's in the documentation that you've got. What I want to do is just pick out a few things that we're doing under each of those bullet areas. So our industry has the competence. We have a competence work group that is really trying to ensure that we work on a standardized set of competencies that we can use across the industry to improve our safety performance. We'll have strong and sustainable leadership. Quite frankly, that's me, that's you, it's us in this room and many others across the offices in Aberdeen and offshore. We'll only have leadership if you guys are up for it. Our workforce will be fully engaged in health and safety. We have a presentation from the 971 reps later. We have engagement in terms of the booths, but much more than that, we have a workforce engagement group. I think the big step change was having 971 reps on the leadership team. We've got a long way to go in terms of harnessing that capability, but the level and quality of conversation we've had and the level of involvement from the workforce has moved us to a whole new place. So a lot more to do, but a real start made on that. We'll raise our standards and continually improve our health and safety performance. I think we've really tried, and that's something that Martin and I have been keen to do, is to let's not create documents that sit on the shelf, but let's have a few things that we do very well, and that's a recurring theme. So MIST, performing authority, mechanical joints. I think there are many more areas where we could work together as an industry and not rely on consultants or people who can provide us new and different ways. Let's work together to deliver those things. It will help in reducing complexity, it will reduce cost, and it will give us a better outcome. I think we're not harnessing enough the standardization across the industry that can bring the benefits that we really need. Asset integrity, the guys will talk more about that later. Hydrocarbon reduction target, publishing hydrocarbon data, reduction data and release data on websites that we have and making that in the public domain. I think that again was a big, brave move forward in terms of improved transparency as an industry. If people come for freedom of information, that's fine, but why not just get it out there in the public domain? We've got nothing to hide. Let's be clear and transparent and work together to improve our performance. And finally, health and safety issues will be effectively communicated. We're doing a lot more through cascades from the leadership team, a lot more getting into the public domain, getting the 971 reps community more fully involved. But we've got a lot more to do in terms of getting our message through. I go to a lot of my own facilities and you talk about what is step change doing, and there's still quite a lot of grey area. I think it's improving amongst the 971 reps, maybe not so clearly amongst my own OIMs. So I've got a lot more to do personally. I think you guys have got more to do in terms of getting the message out. In terms of some of the key achievements of 2011, Martin's already touched on a number of those, but let me just pick up on a few. The workforce engagement tool, which we'll hear more about later, a real opportunity to get another KPI, another metric out there to understand what is the health of your facility, what are the opportunity areas to improve, and how do you benchmark against other facilities. The Human Factors Network event, really trying to understand procedural compliance. Martin mentioned 80-something% of our incidents relate back to not following procedures. There's an enormous opportunity if we can crack that one. Direct workforce representation in the leadership team, a real move forward in getting the workforce involved in the things that we talk about and the areas we're trying to improve. MIST, fully embedded. That was a kind of industry first in getting something standardized right across. Industry-wide agreement on sharing hydrocarbon release data. Again, improving our transparency as an industry. And then helicopter safety is a core part of the step change leadership team agenda. An area that's quite often forgotten, but is actually one of the high-risk, high-hazard areas that our guys face day in, day out. So significant progress with more to do. Our annual review, which is in your pack, provides an update on where we are, but more importantly, where we're going and what we intend to do. Some of the key priorities that we have for 2012, hydrocarbon release reduction in the integrity area, and making sure that we share and learn good practices across the industry. Working on our safety culture and behaviours, particularly focused on the procedures and standards. Why are people not following procedures? What is it about them that's not right? What is it we can do to improve in this area? Because that's an enormous opportunity to reduce personal injuries. Workforce engagement tool, understand where that is, and hopefully take the pilot that we ran across, I think, 11 or 13 facilities, take that right across the industry. competence, establishing standards, and particularly mechanical joint integrity and a number of other areas. And helicopter safety, continue the implementation of what was the helicopter task group and now into the helicopter safety steering group, and make sure that we've got the best practices operating across our industry. But the key theme that we've tried, Martin and myself as co-chairs and the Step Change leadership team, is to do less, but to do it much more deeply, much more systemically, much more consistently across the industry. That's where we believe we're going to have the impact. What we don't want to have is a pile of Step Change brochures sitting in a drawer or sitting on a shelf, which we've taken a lot of time and energy to generate, but have had no positive benefit on the industry. If that's what we're about, we've lost the plot, and I need you guys' help to make sure that we're focused on the right things. It was great to see the hydrocarbon release reduction event the other week. I think there was nearly 200 people participated, very active engagement, really great to see that spectrum of people involved. And I guess one of the things we've talked about as a Step Change leadership team is that we really want to encourage that participation, because it does kind of slightly frustrate me that I get barracked quite a lot for coming along and giving stuff at presentations by AQPC and others where you can spend £2,000 and you can hear the best of what's happening. I can assure you that if you go to these Step Change events, you'll hear even more about the real things that are happening. So I'd be asking you and your teams to support the Step Change events, and let's work together as an industry rather than necessarily promoting and pushing ourselves at commercial events which don't necessarily have the right expertise. Let's work together as an industry to deliver the right outcomes rather than relying on third parties to facilitate that for us. I really believe that we can work together to be much more successful. And I guess in closing, what I wanted to do was lay out again, as Martin had done, as the expectations of this day, or half day as it is understand the challenge that we face, and I guess that's very real and visible in the current environment, align and progress, and make sure we can work together going forward. It's about sharing best practice and learnings and see where you can contribute. If nothing else, I hope that everyone in the room can take away at least one thing that they intend to follow up on, they intend to support, they intend to question, or they intend to get someone involved in. We are the industry leadership. Let's commit to continued involvement in Step Change. It's a forum that can really deliver improvement and the way forward for our industry in terms of safety, because I really do believe that together we succeed. Thanks very much.